Just wanted to bring you guys with me as I start my seedlings in the Aerogarden. The initial setup is super simple. There are two bars and grooves that help keep it secure. Then there are two cords you need to plug in. One runs the pumps for the water and the other monitors the water level. After these are plugged in, I just set them back here out of sight. Then the lid sits right on top and there's a small opening which you can use for easy filling, and there's a lid that covers that as well. Here you can see some lavender that I've already started. They are all topped with these germination caps, but it looks like some of them are not going to grow, so I'm going to remove these and start some of my new seedlings in there. I also was just going to show you, as I'm taking the duds out, how much algae growth there is in here, as well as white mold. This is super common. It's actually signs that you have a healthy environment down there, so it's nothing to be afraid of. You can definitely wipe it away if it's gross. I do it from time to time just to make sure that things look nice and neat, and also to make sure there's not so much buildup that it starts causing mechanical issues. Before I get my pods ready, I'm just going to go ahead and get this thing filled up. Once you think you're getting close, put the lid on and then use the fill line to fill it the rest of the way. Here are my seeds. I purchased them this year and I was just keeping them in this bag until I was ready to get the Aerogarden going. I probably have way more seeds here than I need. I don't plan on having a large garden, but I'm just sorting through and figuring out what all I want to get set up in the Aerogarden. Right now I want to get my tomatoes and peppers started, and then I also want to experiment with cauliflower and broccoli because those need to be started inside as well. I pulled out the starters I had that were duds or had not come up yet. I'm going to try to plant in here. I just figured it's worth a shot. Don't let them go to waste. Worst comes to worst, lavender will sprout up and the tomatoes won't, or vice versa. Or I'll have one of each and I can maybe separate those out later. You don't need to buy the Aerogarden ones. These things are pretty standard, but they do make great starters when you're starting out. Here's what the actual kit looks like. I just picked these up from Menards because it's super convenient for me, but I believe you can get them cheaper off of the website, the Aerogarden website. Otherwise, you can order them on Amazon, and like I said, you can also order a generic brand. There are also other pieces you can buy for the Aerogarden, so you can do far more than 12, so when you're starting the seeds, but for my purposes, this works just fine for me, so that's what I'm going to go with. If you have a large garden, though, I definitely recommend getting the seed starting piece because you can do way more seeds. So let's open this bad boy up and I will show you what all is in it. It is a lot of packaging, which I don't like just because I am trying to get into being more sustainable. So I do try to reuse what I can. And like I said, once you kind of get a buildup, you can buy a lot of this stuff in bulk. I totally failed when I opened this. There is a wrong and a right way to open this, as you'll see. Um, I totally opened it upside down and backwards, but here's what's all in it. So it comes with the liquid food, which is super necessary. You can also buy this in bulk once you get further along. It comes with the little substrate pads and the plastic tubes that hold them. And then it also comes with these labels. I usually don't use these because I'm generally not working with too many plants at a time. But if you're doing a large variety of different plants or you just want to keep it organized, those can be helpful as well. This part's super simple. You just take the little substrate sponges. You can see they already have holes in them and pop them down into the plastic pieces. It also comes with these little germination caps. You put these over the pods when they're just starting. Helps keep everything moist so that the germination process goes faster and smoothly. If you buy the actual topper that is for seed starting, so mine only can hold 12, but you can buy ones for seed starting. You actually don't even need the plastic pieces. You can just buy the sponges in bulk and then they just sit right in the holes. And at that point, you can also start a lot more seeds than just 12. But from what I need, this is just perfect. I'm not going to have a huge garden. This is just going to make it easier for me to get things started. Here you can see me starting to add the seeds. I put a pinch full of seeds in each one. I mean, you definitely could start with one seed, but when I have bought the actual Aerogarden kits, they do come with multiple seeds in them. And I just have to pause here. This is the correct way to open the box. Look how nice that is. So much better than when I opened it the first time. Just some notes about choosing the seeds that you start in your Aerogarden. Definitely do some research. See what does well with aquaponics and what does not. The lavender I didn't research. I had half of mine come up. Granted, maybe if I waited a little longer, more would have come up. But I know for a fact that Aerogarden sells, stuff for tomatoes, peppers, lettuce, herbs. So I know those are all great things to start in there, but I'm just experimenting too with doing different things. Like this time I've never done cauliflower or broccoli, so we'll see how it goes. Once you got them all filled, just pop them in the Aerogarden and throw on the germination caps. The food instructions are super simple. I'm using 12 pods, so I'm going to use 4 capfuls for the first 2 feedings and then do 6 capfuls after that. You just put those right into the watering hole and the pumps will naturally stir it. Now on the display, we're going to set it up. We're setting up the left side and I'm going to do a quick plant setup. So it's going to let you choose your clock settings. I'll go in and change this later. I'm just going to hit settings that are correct. It asks you what you're doing, so we're going to be seed starting. It just kind of gives you some information about where to keep it and where to find more information, what it's capable of. Here it lets you set times. I'm going to go in and adjust these later, but try to match them close to your natural timeline of when the sun comes up and down. It just tells you how to get it started, which we've already done. And then you hit OK. And then here on the left, it shows you when the light's going to turn on, off, lets you manually turn it on and off as well. And then you can actually raise or lower the actual lights on the machine with these 2 arrows. Tells you when water is full or low, and I'll get an alert on my phone. I have the app on my phone, so it actually tells me all that too. Then it also tells you when you need to add plant food and how many days you've been planted. Mine aren't going to be in here the whole time because I'm doing seed starting, but it is nice to keep track of. So while our plants are really young, we want to move the lights down really close to them. This will give them lots of light, but also prevent stretching. So when the light's far away, the plants tend to reach up, which can make the limbs a lot thinner and therefore weaker. So once it starts fruiting, we're at risk of collapse. So I'm just going to move the lights all the way down until it's at the lowest point. Now you can see the light is nice and close. The caps are going to help keep things moist and speed up the germination process. As you can see, I've taken the caps off these, but realistically you should wait till they're this big or larger, really until the leaves are about touching the plastic before you take them off. But once you see leaves, really you can start taking them off. I'm only going to let these guys get maybe 3 to 5 inches tall before I move them into dirt. You want to keep them really wet at that point. Just helps reduce the amount of shock when you transplant. I definitely appreciate you guys following along in my seed startup. Hopefully you learned a little, and if you're interested in getting one of these, maybe that'll help you make your decision. But really these things are so versatile. I like to use mine for cuttings. It's nice for seed starting. Also, you can grow full-grown plants in here. I mean, there's so much you can really do, and it's super self-automated, super easy. I realize how nasty this plant looks, so I just wanted to show you guys I cleaned it up and I'm not a complete heathen. But again, I appreciate you guys sticking along for the video. If this is something you want to see more of, please like, share, leave a comment. I definitely appreciate it. Thanks.